Hey guys, how are you? Gotta clean this baby up today. Kinda got her pretty dirty. Kinda fiddling around with it. Right now I'm gonna take off my electronics plate. Right up here on the top. I took most of the screws out already. I got 3 more to do. So I got that off now. Disconnect my channels on my transmitter. We got this off now. Now I'm going to take the shock screws out. Don't move it. It's always fun taking these things apart and cleaning them. It's the best thing you can do for an RC is keep it cleaned up. That way nothing gets ruined. So. And it's best if you keep your screws to everything sorted out and in their own group. That way when time comes to put everything back together, you're not searching around for different screws if you end up running into that problem. It's not a bad thing if you do, but it just makes it easier keeping everything separated. I'm almost done taking off these shock screws. 2 more here. In my last video I installed my my digital camera on top of my body on this thing. In the last couple minutes of my video it was pretty rough. The electrical tape started getting loose on me. So it's kind of hard to see and focus on it, let alone trying to see what the heck is going wrong, what the heck is going on, you know. So now I'm taking my shocks off. Okay, 1 more here. Off, Lonnie. My daughter is playing around in the background. Cool. Got the shocks off now. Next thing to do, what I like to do is finish taking off the motor and the steering servo. Okay. Just come through here, take off the control arm for the steering servo. Before you do this, make sure you take a mental note on where all this stuff lines up at. Otherwise, you'll be spending a lot of time trying to get it all back together right in order for everything to work properly. Let's take the steering knuckle off. Okay, set that aside. Now, turning it over, and I'm going to take out the 3 screws here for the motor, and then the 4 screws right here for the steering servo. Get off, Lonnie. Is the camera still on?
Yeah.
Just sit back there and see if it goes dead or something. Alright, let's take this motor off, shall we? Through. Now these screws are easy to remember where they go at. They're machine screws made for metal. Okay. Cool. We got the motor off. Move here on the side. Take the screws off for the servo. Two more. Last one right here. Okay. Now the steering servo is free. Okay. Kind of wipe this down a little bit. And as you can see, I have already plasti dipped this. Like I said in the last video or so, I was starting to plasti dip my electronics. Doing this is pretty easy. Okay. Stuff is pretty easy. On the steering servos, the only thing you have to tape off is the little steering gear right here. That way none of the plasti dip gets lodged inside there. It makes it stuck. So just a little bit of any tape of your choice, put it in, wrap it around there, and then take your can of plasti dip and dunk it into the can for a few seconds, pull it back out, let it dribble off. Hang it up for about 10-15 minutes until it starts getting a little crust on it, like pudding. And then do another coat. In about 30 minutes, come through and push all the air space out. That way it makes it nice, smooth surface around everything. Okay. But plasti dipping your electronics is pretty easy. It's time consuming, in hours, but it works pretty good. So now I got all the electronics off of my rig. As you can see, there's nothing on it except for the axle and the tires. Right. Let's take the tires off. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can take your RC apart. Everybody does it differently. But the way I do it is just easier for me. So however you guys do it and it's best for you, good job. So we're taking the tires off now. Now we're going to take off these little hex nuts right here that hold in your bearing shafts. They can be kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. I'm going to come through, pop these off. There we go. Now, when you take off the hex nuts, if you can see it, there's a little pin that's holding this in. go ahead and take that out. Be careful not to lose those, because if you do, it won't stay on, and your wheel will sit there and spin because it has nothing to lock onto. Knock it off, Mommy. Do that to all four sides. Line it right now. Go get your stuff done. Did you fold all your laundry? No, you didn't. Well, the last one here. Of course, the last one's always the hardest.
Check me out on YouTube.
Mommy, knock it off right now. Beat your ass. Through. Try to pop this off. Sometimes you gotta use a little smart engineering to pop this guy off. There we go. We got her now. Take the last small pin out. You guys can see this. That little pin right here. Those are very important on making your wheels spin. Without them, you have no power. Cool. We got the wheels taken off. Okay. Now we're going to start by taking off the bumpers. Okay. Come through here, loosen these bumpers up. Right now, stuff is scattered all over our kitchen table. The wife ought to be really happy about this. That she won't stay mad for very long. So, we got the bumper off. Go ahead and pull these pins out that connect your lower control arms to the frame and the back side of the bumpers. Okay, and they are free to move around and drop the drive shafts out. Drive shafts are now out. Let's do this to the same on the back bumper. Sorry about the distraction, guys. I got 2 daughters here, so they can be a handful. Been kind of a long, boring day today. Had a little fun with this guy today. Again, pull the bumper out. Pull the pins connecting your lower control arms off. Don't use that, I got stuff loading. There we go. And I already took out the drive shafts earlier today. We didn't have to do that now. Now we come through and unscrew the tie rods that are connecting to the steering system. Okay. Then do this. Put the screw in. I like to put the screws back into these tight spots, that way you don't lose them. Just a little bit here. Okay. There we go. The tie rods are now off. Cool. Now I can unscrew my upper control arms. Okay. Coming through. Unscrewing these bad boys. I am not a native to California. My hometown is about 1,100 people in southern Iowa. I'm not used to civilization. Grew up on a farm. moved out here for my soon-to-be wife. Right. So now we got the screws off from the top control arms. We got them right here. Okay. Then we come through, pop the axle bearings out, set them on the side. I usually do this because there's so much sand around my area. I like to take it apart and give it a clean about every week and a half to 2 weeks, depending on how much I use it. Right now, coming through, and I'm unscrewing the top control arm on the back axle. Come through, got one more to go. Cool. Got them off. Same thing. Pull the axle bearings out. Set them off to the side. Cool. Everything is pretty much ready to be washed. What I like to use is just Dawn dish soap and hot soapy water. Hot soapy water, Dawn dish soap. That's the best way to get grease and grime and dirt off of anything. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on this off camera. I'm going to wait for everything to dry, of course, and then I will be back to show you guys how to put this beast back together. But until then, guys, thanks. Bye-bye.